Do you want to see how I created these shapes? I will show you in this video. Hi, this is Diana. Welcome to Crafted Sweetly. I want to show you in this video how to create this type of artwork, how to cut out the sheet so that it looks like this. Generally, when you cut out holes like this, you would use either a wood burning tool or a soldering iron to get these kind of holes, but you would never be able to get such clean cuts as you see in this image. It generally leaves the edge a little raggedy and not even, so you would not be able to achieve this type of look using either one of those tools. For this project, I am using Tyvek paper because it's very thin, so I get very nice clean edges to it. But the big question is, how do I achieve these cuts out of the Tyvek paper, or if you choose Yupo paper? I'm actually using a Cricut machine. So in this video, I'll show you how to create the design in Cricut Design Space, and then also how to color it. I will not go into detail about assembling this, how you layer the various pieces. I do have another video linked above to do that, and I have a link also for it at the end of the video and in the description box below. So watch that as far as how to put it together. This video is a little longer because I wanted to show you how to create this image in Cricut Design Space, so I'm going through all the various steps there as well. So let's get right into it. I first want to show you in Cricut Design Space how I created the image. In order to do that, I like to set out the rectangle for the piece of paper that I'll be working on. The Tyvek paper is about 8 inches by 11 inches, and I will make this the same size. And you can either change this by moving it or go up here and just make it 8 inches by 11 inches. And then there is my sheet. I zoom out a little bit, and let me do this way. I'll show you the other images shortly, but I just want to show you this part. And I changed this color to some other color just so that you can see it as the background. So this is the Tyvek paper. At this point, I take whatever shape I want cut out. And for the video that I did previously, I used strictly circles. And you can go to shapes, choose a circle, and then bring it onto the Tyvek paper. Now I know I don't want to go all the way up here with the circles because I want to keep this border open, and that's for me to do the layering when I put together the piece. And just keep making circles. Do a circle and you can duplicate that circle and just make it whatever size. And I keep repeating, if you want to do a whole bunch of them of the same size, then I will hit duplicate however many times. And you may keep them the same size or just manipulate to the size you want. And just continue doing this. Now, once you have it laid out to the way you want it, what you do want is, I don't want this green portion of it because that's just to help me know where on the sheet the circles will be cut out. And what I do is I will click on the green and then make it not visible by clicking on this little icon here, and then it disappears. It's still there, but I don't want it visible. And the rest of the circles, once you have all the ones you want, highlight them all, and then I attach them. That way I make sure that they cut out in the exact position that I have them on the sheet. They're not going to cut out, randomly or by size. So this is how I created the sheet that I did for the previous project, which you can find the link up above, and I'll also have a link in the description box. But this is the way that I had it. And then once I have the circles, then with each layer you want the circles to be in a different position. So now they're attached, so you can't move. You want to detach if you want to change the size or location. For the next layer, I want the circle to be in a different place and a different size. So that's what you do with each one. Now I'll delete this, and I want to show you for this project what I did. So we're deleting this, and I'll go over to what I did for this project. Okay, so for this project, what I did was I took, instead of a rectangle, I set up a circle that indicates where I will cut out a circle in the mat. That way I know how big the opening is for the image that I'm creating for the project. And you'll see in a little bit, towards the end of the video, what this means. But I want to make sure that these are not sticking too far out when I cut it. I want to make sure that it's within the opening of the frame, of the mat that I have in the frame. And the way I created this shape is, what I did was I went over to shapes and did a circle, and I duplicated the circle and I overlapped them. Once you overlap them, then I select both of them and then slice it. So once you slice it, the two circles, then you get left with the center portion. See, if I separate those out, then you get left with this. I delete these, and then there are actually two here because they were overlapped. So this is the shape that I used for here. Now if you want to keep this shape but change the size, either make it longer or skinnier, wider, then you unlock this and then change it this way or make it super long, whatever you want to do with it. If you want to keep the proportion where the width changes proportionately with the height, then you keep that locked. And that's what I used for this. Now I'll do 3 layers, and I want the top portion to have the most and largest pieces cut out. And then once I did that, then right now, if you see that all together, and if I go up here on the side, you can choose your circle. So here's the circle, that's from the other one. So there is the circle. Now I won't print or have this cut out, so what I do is click on this and make it not visible. Then you do want to select all of these and then attach them. If you do not do that, then they will, when you're getting ready to cut it, they will all just be lined up by size and cut that way. And there are the other 2 that I created. So I selected that and duplicated it, and then created 2 more with fewer holes in it. And same thing, we're going to make the reds disappear, or not visible I should say. And I look for it on the side here, not visible, and then find the other one, not visible. So at this point I have all 3 images without the red around them. I select make it, and if you look, these I forgot to do change, and that's what happens. So what I need to do is come back here, select these and attach, and then select these and attach. That way they cut exactly where I placed them, not scrambled. I'll click make it again, and now you can see the 3 mats with the pieces that will be cut out. Now I do not want this to be cut right in the corner, which is the default place that Cricut Design Space places the images. You can pick up the image and move it in here. Now I don't want it down here either, or over to this way. What I want to do is kind of center it. So I know that my piece of paper is 8 by 11.5 or so. So I will come down, make sure that it's the same distance here and here. And then as far as going down, I've got 2 squares above and 2 squares below. So that's about the place I want this one. And then you go on and do the next one the same way. If it's slightly off, it's no big deal, but this gives me the border around the piece of paper. And same with this last one. Okay, now they all are set, and I will go back to the first one and then continue. And for this, once your computer is connected to the Cricut machine, I did choose medium cardstock as far as the material that I'm cutting. The Tyvek paper is about as thin as copy paper, but it does have fibers in it. So after trying it on copy paper and finding that some of the places it did not cut completely through, medium cardstock works best. So I choose that with the default and then continue to cut it. Once your machine has cut out all 3 layers, then this is what we end up with. Peel off the paper and all the petals stay behind. We don't need those. You can certainly use them for another project. if you want, but it's the top sheet that we will use for our layers. Repeat with the other mats and just remove the sheets from each one. For this project, I chose to cut the sheets first and then color them versus the other way around. This way I have a little more control over where the colors will be in relation to where the petals are. I can tell which is the top layer because the holes are the largest for the top tier, and that way you can see the multiple layers below. If the holes were small at the top, then you really can't see the layers below. And now for the coloring, I'm using Ranger inks in various colors of pink, orange, yellow. And if you want something a little lighter, then I do dilute this with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol just to make it lighter. It's not so concentrated. And now I will color the image and color as you wish. I'll use my glass mat if I want to use the brush and just pick up some of the color from there in order to color. One thing to keep in mind when you're doing this is that you're coloring each layer individually. So keep in mind as you're coloring how you want the colors to appear once you layer this project. So your top tier, you may not want to be your darkest colors and then light and faint in the background. I'm actually going to do it opposite that. So I'll do colors that are lighter at the top, and then the bottommost layer will have the darkest colors because I want it to almost seem like a shadow color to it. I do go beyond the outer area because as I put the mat on it, I want to make sure that I have color on the outside and none of the white will be showing. For this project, the opening will be round, so I want to make sure that my image will fit inside that opening, which was 6.5 inches in diameter. So that's how I'm coloring this. You don't see the rest of it because it's colored by the mat, but I do want to extend the color beyond where the opening is. And repeat the process for your other layers based on whatever design you're choosing to do. And with the bottom layer, I will do deeper reds and deeper colors because I want it to be more like a shadow in the background. Now, if you had colored this beforehand, you really wouldn't know where the colors would land, which may give you an interesting project as well. But again, I chose to cut this as a white paper and then color it afterwards. Once you are done coloring this, then we need to put it together. And for that, the link to the assembly is right at the top of this video. So click on that link and I'll show you how to put it together, and it looks like this. I layered the matte part just to give it a little frame, but it's up to you. I do have a link in the description box below for the Facebook group, and I will post a link to the file for Cricut Design Space, which you can use to either recreate this in some form or modify it to however you wish. But the link to the file will be in the Facebook group and you can get it from there. I hope you enjoyed this video. Looking forward to your creations. Feel free to post in my Facebook group if you recreate this. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next crafting project.